This summer, we have seemingly taken quite a few trips, and we find ourselves traveling down 99. What I've noticed is there's been a lot of accidents. It's as if people might have forgotten how to drive through the quarantine, and so we have avoided those accidents. GPS alerts us that there is an accident up the way, and it asks us if we'd like to take a faster route. Well, of course we do. And so we'll take those bypasses, and it might be an old country road, it might just be a little diversion, and we avoid it altogether, and we're back on the track and happy that we're not stuck in traffic. In the devotional today, we see that this is exactly what we're talking about, is that Moses goes to Pharaoh with a message. The text is Exodus 3:20, and I will stretch out my hand and I will smite Egypt with my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof, and after that he will let you go. And so Moses went to Pharaoh with God's message, and he said, let my people go. Pharaoh resisted, and by resisting, he brought upon himself an enormous amount of suffering, as well as the people. Now, at first, the suffering was rather distant from Pharaoh, but as this thing began to escalate, it came right into his very home. You know, God has a message for us today. We know that John 8:36 says, if the Son has made you free, you're free indeed. And so Jesus has made us free through his sacrifice on the cross. You might think, well, what is that? Well, the Bible is very clear. For the wages of sin is death. Now, we don't like to see ourselves as sinners or bad people. We have this connotation of what sin looks like, and we think of the greatest atrocities, and we ascribe that to sin, and we say, well, I'm not like that. Well, the fact of the matter is that Jesus made it very clear in his Sermon on the Mount that if you hate your brother, you've murdered him in your heart. And so the root of that is an offense against the Ten Commandments, the holy standard of God. If you look upon a woman with lust, you've sinned in your heart. He's very clear about these things. And how many of us haven't kind of warped a story to make us look a little better than we really are? So when you take an honest look at yourself, you realize, man, I've not met God's holy standards. The problem with that is the penalty is death. And we think that is rather severe. And while it may be, God was willing to send his Son to die in our place. He was our substitute, just like the sacrifices in the Old Testament. They were substitutes. He took our place. When we take an honest look at who we are, and when we really see our condition, but then we also see the amount of love that he exhibited in Christ by dying in our place, we can take that alternative route, which is salvation, and avoid the destruction that is coming our way. Because it's not just an inconvenience of a traffic jam. It's not even the kind of suffering that Pharaoh suffered. It's eternity in hell, tremendous torment. So it's what Pharaoh suffered, but just for eternity. We can avoid all that simply obeying Jesus Christ. Question is, have you done that? God has given us a message. Will we obey it? If not, let today be the day that you do it. If you have, then continue in him. May God bless you. Pay attention to those things that may hinder you in your life.